How's it going?
Going well. How
So
about
I'm
you?
good. So I'm here with Nathan from Honest Mortgage, and we wanted to get together to chat and answer some of the most common questions that we've been receiving at this time. So one thing that I'm hearing a lot about is mortgage forbearance. So can you provide some kind of insight into, what that is and if it's a good idea for people to do?
Yep. Yeah, so everybody's situation is different, right? So I'm scared to blanket statement that answer, but the thing that everybody can do and should do is turn off any untrustworthy forms of communication when it has to do with their finances. So if you're hearing somewhere on social media that some other person in the industry said this, that, or the other thing, or if you are hearing from the mainstream media that really isn't in our industry to do something, I would ignore that. I would go directly to the source. Go to your mortgage broker. Go to your lender. On every mortgage statement, there is a phone number that you can call for servicing. I would call that number. Basically, I sent out an email this morning to all of my past clients, and what I'm recommending is, number one, forbearance is not forgiveness. Okay,
Right.
so a lot of people think that they're one and the same.
Mhm.
And that's really like even a lot of people in government are spinning it that way, right? Like they're like, hey, you don't have to pay your mortgage.
Yes, because
Uh,
that's what I thought it was originally. I thought it was a
right.
forgiveness sort of thing.
Right. And so it's not that. So these lenders, no lender in the nation is just going to say, "Oh, we're just going to forgive your loan," right? They might put it off. Best case scenario, if you don't make a payment right now, it's going to be tacked on to the end of your loan, which that's truly best case scenario. That's what we're hoping that lenders will do. But
Okay.
I wouldn't go on and I wouldn't call your lender and I wouldn't miss payments before you figure out that that's what they're going to do, because there's some lenders that are going to make a lump sum due at the end of the 3 to 6 month period. That could
Right.
put people in a really tough spot, right?
Okay.
There's other lenders that will say, okay, a lump sum is not due, but we are going to raise your mortgage payment up, $200-300 until the money is recouped. And
Okay.
so they are not. Nobody is out here forgiving payments and forgiving loans and pretending like they're still being paid. They're putting them on pause and they're figuring out on the back end, how are we going to recoup these payments, and they will recoup them, like they're like 100%. So um, the advice that I gave all of my past clients is just to reach out to their servicer, and just get like as much detail as they can about how this is going to go before they opt to just not make a mortgage payment.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Just kind of know what
um,
you're getting into before you go ahead and go that route. And that should probably be like a last resort, not something that you just jump to right
Yeah, I
away.
mean, yeah, I mean, hey, best case scenario is keep making your payments, right? Now, I'm not trying to sound, pompous and that like I understand there's very tough times and not everybody can make their payment. And that's why in that case I would go right to the lender and ask those questions.
Mhm.
For everybody else that can make a payment, make your payment, right? Like absolutely the best thing for you as a consumer. And I told my clients, I personally don't make any money on you making your payment. Like I'm an originator. I get paid to originate loans. I don't get paid based on servicing or anything like that. So it has no benefit to me for you to make your payment, but it has benefit to the client. They admit, if you miss a late payment, it's going to look bad on credit. So you keep your credit intact, you keep your budget intact, you keep your principal balance going down. And it's really the safest play just to try to make your mortgage payment. I mean, when if the government does issue this stimulus, like it's not for like a vacation, like it's for
Right.
your bills and stuff. So people should be
Right.
doing everything that they can to make that payment. But how are things in your world? What's somebody that what can they do? Somebody that's thinking about selling in, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, or they're at home right now. Is there things they can do to like prep their house?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now is a great time to, work outside. The weather's getting nicer and, curb appeal is huge. So working on that landscaping and just taking a walk around your house and kind of figuring out a plan of what needs to be done. And, even consulting with a realtor right now and doing a virtual meeting like we're doing right now and kind of
Yeah.
walking through the house and getting some suggestions and feedback is, really useful. And that way, you can be doing those things right now and then, come back and reassess the market in May or June and see if, it's a good time to list then.
Right. And I know, like, from my experience, and you can probably touch on this a little bit more, but I mean, there are some cases where people still are, even though,
Mhm.
our governor kind of put the squash on showing homes, people are still getting under contract. They might just be writing those contracts instead of 30 days, like 60 days.
Definitely. And, it's all contingent on seeing the home in person. So you can get a contract in writing and, in your contract it's going to state that it is contingent on being able to see the home in person. And at this point we really don't know, what things are going to look like, when things are going to open back up and people are going to be able to look at homes in person, but at least you can have an interested party in your home and you can have something in writing that
Right.
you can get it moving in that aspect.
Right.
But actually closing on the house definitely is going to take longer than, as than 30 days is what
Right.
we're used to.
Right. And I'm seeing on my end too, a lot of the loan products, especially the government ones, certain lenders are tightening guidelines. So
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it more difficult right now to qualify for a mortgage than it was, say, a month ago?
it is not for somebody who's in a conventional loan. They are tightening up guidelines there a little bit, like some debt to income and credit score, tightening up, and just some other maybe delinquencies on a credit report that they're not allowing. Um, but all in all, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, they're doing an okay job of making adjustments and appraisals and things like that to keep our industry going. It's the lenders specifically that are not really wanting to take on the risk right now, and they're having some capacity issues, and they're not really sure. There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the value of a loan right now because of servicing values and a couple of other items that it's causing the lenders themselves to tighten up. So yes, what I've seen is like, where before, we could take an FHA buyer, let's say, all the way down to 580, ideally 620 and above. A lot of lenders are now tightening up to 640 and above. Some are tightening up to 680 and above. And so they're
Wow.
definitely, putting the screws on a little bit. And we're all hoping like that ends, at the end of the month, right? And then we can kind of go back to normal. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to see, a lot of weird guidelines for the next 3 to 6 months. But hopefully this just isn't, some sort of really nasty long-term thing, and we can work our way back to normal.
Absolutely. That would be the absolute best case scenario.
Yes.
All
So,
right.
anything else in your world?
No, not really. Just trying to stay connected with clients and past clients and just kind of sharing any information that I'm getting every day
Yeah.
because it's changing and things aren't, what they were last month or the month before or last April. They're completely different.
Right.
So,
Yeah, there's a I just talked to one of my account reps, and there's a potential that they're going to be giving like some sort of rate or closing cost discount to everybody on the front lines right now, like any healthcare workers or people in the food industry or anybody, police, firefighters, things like that. So I'll keep you updated on that. I'm hoping that
yeah,
that's a thing.
definitely. Please do because they so deserve it.
They
So,
do.
awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
to
you for
talk
the
to you.
information. It was very helpful for me on my end.
Yeah,
So,
cool. Thank you as well.
okay, we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.